Yes, folks. Hope everyone is good. A new goalkeeper is the next signing for Leeds United, it seems, at the time of recording. Again, we've got the medical. I believe he's joined up with a squad in Germany, so it all seems good. I believe the fees are around 15 million. Again, this is done before the signing, but it's almost done, so I feel safe to do it, as usual. Lucas Perri from Lyon is the goalkeeper Leeds United have chosen to go with this summer. And the fact that we've done that and we've took that step, having gone through a few years of very inconsistent goalkeeping, honestly, you could go back years and years since we probably had a very solid goalkeeper consistently, which is probably Rob Green, honestly. I used to love Rob Green when he played for Leeds. But now it feels like we've actually brought in, and again, hopefully, that consistency and that really high standard of goalkeeping. So just a little bit of information on Lucas Perri, and I'll talk about him as an individual, as a profile. But I just want to talk about some individual stuff, some stat stuff. And I'll just say as well, look, you guys know who've watched this channel, I'm not big on goalkeepers. I just get one in. You know what I mean? I'm kind of that type. But when it's a good one, or it feels like a good one, you get excited, and I am excited by this. So yeah, he's and I'll put the stuff up here. 27 years old, very tall. Don't know how, but what, 6'4" He looks very big. He looks very imposing. Played 33 times, I believe, in the league for Lyon last season. Signed the season before from Botafogo in Brazil. Was actually at Palace for a little bit a few years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, which is interesting. Like I say, he's still only 27. He feels a little older for some reason, but he isn't. Not yet made his Brazilian, national team debut, but again, it's going to be almost impossible with the goalkeepers are part of the Brazil squad. So, but a very high caliber player by all accounts. A bit of a coup for Leeds United. And one thing I realised from watching him, and again, I've not watched him. He's not someone I was particularly aware of before a month ago. So I don't know so much about him. I'm not an expert on him in the slightest. It's just very recent research. And I say very recent as in the last few days. That's made me dig a bit deeper into and watch a few halves. I've not watched games, and a few clips and a few YouTube stuff. One thing that stood out in a negative way before I get into the positives is he doesn't really, from what I saw, doesn't really come for crosses. Or not necessarily crosses, but in areas where the ball's in, between the defence or really high around the 6-yard box. He's not, from what I saw, dominant in that sense. He likes to stay on his line. Not that it's indecisive, it's he decides to stay on his line. That's the choice he makes. It's not like he's do I go, do I not? It's I'm staying on my line. Which again, there could be times this season where we see that and go, oh, keeper needs to come out for that. That will happen, I'm convinced. That did happen a few times from what I saw. But apart from that, what stood out to me initially from the saves that I saw is how strong his wrists are. And we know we've had a problem with that in the last few years with Illan Meslier, who has his strengths, of course. Very good one-on-one for a start. But it did have problem with balls that were quite close. Now, from what I've seen of Perri, he has very strong wrists. He gets a good firm hand on it. And again, people might have seen more and he might make these mistakes. But that's just from what I've seen. Which is a positive, obviously. We need someone who's solid, who's strong, who can just do the simple, basic goalkeeping stuff right. That's a key thing in the Premier League. We also need someone who can pull out them match-winning saves. But fundamentally, we need the guy who can do the basics. Another thing I liked about him, particularly from the game I watched, or the two halves I watched, and the highlights, a lot of his saves go down to his left, which is something that was notable. Very good down to his left. He made a few good saves that were going into that bottom corner that he got down to very well. So he's very agile, of course. He's a big guy, but he's very agile, good reflexes that you'd expect. You can tell this is different because I'm not used to goalkeepers. So I can't give really deep detail. I apologise for that. But he looks good. He looks like a solid goalkeeper to me. He looks like someone who will pull out some saves and will actually do the basics really well. You know, a good grasp of the ball. Not someone, again, from what I've seen and what I've seen online, not someone that's going to do silly mistakes like drop the ball, all that stuff. Very solid, very good technique. I like his footwork in terms of when he comes out. He makes himself very big. He's very quick reacting to anything close to him when he comes 1v1, which Meslier was really good at, give him credit. But Perri seems decent at that as well. So yeah, I like it. I've not seen much of him on the ball, so I can't really comment, but I'm assuming he's fine. One thing I did notice, he did it 4 times in the game I watched. He likes to throw the ball. Well, that is something we're not used to. We're used to the feet. But he's a guy who likes to throw the ball long or throw the ball into channels. That is something I did realise. So maybe that's something we can exploit next year in the Premier League if we're hitting a striker like Nemecha or Muniz, if we sign Muniz, you know, or maybe go early to the wingers. It's a different Arsenal. You know, it's a different side of the game, but it's something that isn't really spoken about from a goalkeeper that can release it quickly with the hands. You can probably get a more accurate ball in a quicker situation as well. So that's something I liked. Apart from that, I liked what I saw. Again, I am a little worried about him commanding kind of the 6-yard box area. I feel like there was times where he probably could have claimed it, even got a punch. He stood in his box, they won the header, and they scored from it. But that's something that maybe they'll try and improve. I don't know. But yeah, let's get into some stats. Of course, I've already mentioned that I put it on screen here. I put it on screen his kind of appearances this season and all of his appearances in his career. Very, very quick rise, to be fair. Based all from, obviously, had a decent time in Brazil, which got him the move to Lyon. And then in Lyon, has got him the move to the Premier League, which is a quick trajectory, 27 years old. Not played for the Brazil yet, as I said, but played for the youth teams. But yeah, so statistically, there's a few things that stand out to me. So it's kind of the basic stats, and again, I'll put them on the screen. It's kind of post-shot XG is positive, and it's, you can see it on the screen. It's, according to FB Ref, it's plus 1.61, 0.61, which is the top, 19%, which ain't bad. And what stood out from a lot of these stats is it's decent. There's nothing that makes me go, oh, wow. But I don't mind that, because I feel like sometimes keepers can have extraordinary good seasons where the save percentage is 80 plus. The post-shot XG is 2.5 or 6 or really high. Whereas his are quite modest without being amazing, without being terrible. They're just very good. They're just decent. Sorry, they're just decent in there. There's nothing that stands out that makes me go, ooh, that's a worry. And I like that because, again, we're looking at a goalkeeper that would just need to come in and just be really solid, that can maybe win us a few games. I don't want to talk about him too much. Apart from maybe, Perri was really good today. You know? He's got a 74.5% save rate on FB Ref. Now, there's a few contrasting things with this. It's around the 72 to 75 from what I've seen from 2 or 3 different websites. But again, that comes down to their algorithms, and again, you know, it's slightly different depending on what people see as a save, what competitions that's in. There's many different reasons for that. But yeah, that's good. You know, that's always good. Right? Good save percentage. That's what we need to see in a goalkeeper. And that's what I always find about goalkeepers. Even the difference between the terrible and the good. So, for example, 74 is above average, but you're looking at 72, that's probably below average. So there's not that much different. It's very small. Obviously, the post-shot XG and all those kind of things are the ones you look at. And for Perri, they're not too bad. They're pretty decent. They're pretty solid without being extraordinary. But again, I don't mind that. I don't need that. I need solid. I need decent. I need something that's quite consistent. Got a goals prevented this season of 6, which again, pretty good. You know, I don't know how the algorithm works for this particular website. It's pretty good. From what we've seen from Meslier, I'm fairly sure that was in the negative last season. So a 6 goal prevented based on every shot, based on the XG against, all that stuff. He's pretty good. That's very good. That's very solid. I like that. That's good. I've said that a lot. It is good. again, 72 save percentage on this website. But you're seeing the percentage between 72 and 75, basically. One thing I liked, if you look at the shot map, he does concede a lot down to his left, it seems, which is interesting. But I think a lot of that, from what I saw, the little bit that I saw, is from the close crosses that come near the box that he doesn't come out for. They tend to go down to the bottom corners. If they're up and around him, he does all right. But when someone's really close and the header's going down to the bottom, it's hard to react, right? But likewise to that, if you look at all the little white dots next to him, he's very solid. He doesn't concede too many that are around here. And he also has a decent little save to his top right as well. So those are things that stood out from the kind of the shot map to me. I'll just quickly flash up Meslier's. You can see, a worse save percentage, not by a lot. Like I said, it's very close. It is. Save percentages are not very much different. They're all very similar. It's just about 3 or 4% is like crazy difference. So it's not that much difference. But as you can see, there's not as many shots, and they're not right in the corners. It comes when they're quite close to him. But yeah, just a little contrast there. He's had consistency, had a lot of shots against him last season, and have a lot of shots against you last season, and still have decent numbers like that. It's pretty impressive to me. Yeah, again, my boy Oscar, you guys will know he likes him. I'm looking online. He likes him. Andrea likes him. These are the guys that probably know more about the player than I do. So go look at them on Twitter. They'll explain more, I'm sure. That's just my synopsis. I'm glad we got the goalkeeper out of the way, because this is probably the worst video. Because again, I ain't a goalkeeper guy. I'm sorry. I like the outfield game. But I've got this out of the way. I am very happy with this, though. I am. It could be terrible. From what I've seen, and from what I've watched, and from the stats, he seems pretty decent. So happy days. Thank you for the support. Big up to everyone that was at the charity game as well. I apologise. I got out a little late because I was like a drowned rat. I was freezing, and I stayed and I did the change of rooms with a few others. So I didn't get out early to see everyone, but I saw a few of you, obviously, guys that were there afterwards. Some great chats with some legendary people, and big up everyone. It's a great day. I'm actually not a huge social person either, so it was a lot of... But yeah. Peace out, everyone. Thank you. Everyone's legends. See you guys in a bit. Bye-bye.